Hi everyone, it's Carissa at Sprinkled with Glitter. I have a card and it's going to be featuring one of these Instax prints that I just love. They're little Polaroid prints, and I thought it would be fun to incorporate these on a card with this cute Avery L stamp set and do some coloring with these Prismacolor colored pencils. So this little print came from this Instax photo printer, and I will have a separate review video on this printer on my blog. So if you want to check that out, you can check that out over there, but I'm not going to bog you down with that in this video. So I'm going to start out with this little photo or this camera stamp, and I'm going to mount it on my Martha Stewart stamp press. This one's just a little bit smaller than my stamp press that I have from Fiskars, and I really like it as well. And I'm inking it up with some Memento Tuxedo Black ink and then stamping it on a piece of Neenah Solar White cardstock. This piece is cut to 3 3/4 by 5 inches. And you can see there, I really got a splotchy image on this, so I flipped it over and I inked it up again using some StazOn ink. And this time I got a much more crisp, dark black image. I wanted to use something that I knew would be permanent because I'm going to be coloring with the colored pencils. So I wanted to use an ink that I knew wouldn't bleed or blend when I started doing a whole lot of coloring with these colored pencils. So I've picked out a few colors of the Prismacolor colored pencils, and I have my Gamsol here. This is from Inky Antics and a couple of paper blending stubs. And you're going to see me go in and just add some color to various parts of this camera. Now, I don't have to color over the whole thing because the Gamsol is going to help me blend this out. So you'll see me adding it in just around the viewfinder, at the edges of the heart, around the lens, and I'm just going to go through, and I don't have to be very careful. I just don't want to color outside the lines. On the middle of the lens, I put a little bit of a lighter gray so that the two colors would blend together. And then for the body of the camera, I'm using a darker teal, and then more towards the middle, I'm going to scribble in some lighter teal. And that way, when I go in and blend with the Gamsol, you'll get a fade of a darker color to a lighter color. And like I said before, this is not, you don't have to be very careful. You don't have to color it perfectly. I'm just getting some color onto the image. Once I get the color onto the image the way that I want it, then I can go in and pick up some of this Gamsol on my paper blending stump. And I'm just going to saturate it at first, and then I'm going to blend out the color. Now you'll see as I go over this heart, I'm blending out the color, and it's just giving me a nice fade from that deep, rich color that's up in the corners to a lighter color. This is a really easy coloring technique. Now, when I blend them out, if I, want more color in a certain spot, I go back over it with a little more colored pencil, and then here I am blending it out again with the paper stump and the Gamsol. Now, to get rid of the color that is on my paper blending stump, I went ahead and filed it off on a file that comes with it. And what that does is it just gets the previous color off that blending stump and makes sure that I'm not blending one color into another. So now I'm working on the lens here and just blending out. The black is on the outer edge and that lighter gray is in the middle. So it's going to go fade from black to gray in the center. And like I said before, if I'm not getting exactly the blend that I want, I can go back in and add some more. So I wanted to have a little less jump from black to gray, so I added a darker gray kind of in the middle, and that helped me get a little bit better blend. So this is something that you can definitely play with. It's a pretty easy technique. I'm no expert by any means, but as I started playing with it, I started realizing that this is a really fun and therapeutic way of coloring. I love to color now. It's something I was intimidated by before. And now that I've really started doing it, I've really found that I enjoy it. So you'll probably be seeing more of this on my cards. So now I have the image all colored out in colored pencils. That was all done with colored pencils. And I wanted to add this photo to the front of the card, but I wanted it to look like it was coming out of that camera. So I have my craft knife here, and if you saw my video a few weeks ago, you know that my craft knife was in misrepair, but I got a new one, so that's good news. And I'm going to cut that slit right along that line of that camera, and that will allow me to slide that photo right up into that camera, and the recipient can pull that out of the camera and keep the photo for themselves. So I had to widen the slit there a little bit. I didn't quite make it wide enough at first, but you'll see when I get it wide enough, it slides right in there. And then I'm going to add some foam tape to the back of this piece, but I want to make sure that I'm not putting it in a place where that photo won't be able to slide up in there. So I'm making sure that I go around the photo and put it all over the back of this piece. Now, I wanted to show you that this also works with a gift card. So if you wanted a fun way to give a gift card to somebody, you could definitely slide a gift card up into your photo or into your card as well, and then the recipient could pull it out. Now, this is my gold Starbucks card, and I love this. So anyway, just a fun side note there. Now it's time to get my card base ready. I have a 4 1/4 by 11-inch piece of Neenah Solar White cardstock, and I went ahead and scored it at 5 1/2. And now I'm using my bone folder to kind of make sure I get a really nice crease. And I really felt like this camera piece needed some color behind it, so I just have some really cheap turquoise textured cardstock that I'm going to layer this on top of. So that one is cut to, let's see, it would be 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. Now I have the sentiment, it says #smile. It's from the same Avery L. Smile stamp set, and I'm trying to figure out where I want this to be. And I thought, well, do I want it on the card base itself, or do I want it on the photo? I finally just decided I wanted it on the bottom of the photo. Because it's the first time I've inked up and used the stamp, I went ahead and stamped it once on a piece of scrap cardstock so that I could make sure that it was stamping well. And then I just inked it up in some Stays-On ink again and stamped it right along the bottom of my photo. Now I'm going to go ahead and take off the backer paper on all this foam tape and adhere it to the turquoise piece. And then the turquoise piece will adhere directly to the card base, and I'm just using some tape runner adhesive for that so it's flat onto the card. So now that I have the card all put together, I just wanted to add a few little embellishments to make this really stand out. I have this Sakura Glaze Black Glaze Pen. All the products, by the way, are linked in the YouTube description as well as over at my blog. So if you need more information or links to the products, they are linked in both places. I'm just going to take that black Sakura gel glaze and put it over the black button that's on the one side. And then I'm using glossy accents over the whole lens of the camera. And I'm finally just taking some Wink of Stella clear brush glitter pen and tapping it over the heart that's up in the corner of that camera. Now, I wanted to show you that if you were giving a gift card and you wanted a little tab for them to pull the gift card out, you could just loop some washi tape over on the bottom of the gift card and that would create a little tab. And then to finish the card off, all I'm going to do is slide that photo up into the card, and that completes my card for today. For more information on this project, you can visit my blog at sprinkledwithglitter.com. I'll also have the review of the Instax Share photo printer that I used to print this photo, as well as some tips for making those photos great. Thanks for stopping by, and I hope you have a fabulous day.